Hello, everyone. My name is Lucas Mack, and I am the podcast host of the Golden Rule Revolution. I'm an author of the book, Everyone Has a Plan Until They Get Punched in the Face. I'm an entrepreneur, and today I'm coming to you to share a message of coming from a place of love. The word love has been bastardized over the previous years to the place where we don't want to use the word, and if we do use the word, we misuse the word. And it becomes no different if I love ice cream or I love my wife. But I want to talk about the word love in its root origin. In Hebrew, the word is Ahava, which means to give. Love always gives the highest good for someone else. If you look at the seasons and the cycles in the universe, the regeneration from night to day, everything grows, everything comes back to a place of regeneration. And that is a universal principle of love. What we see right now in our society is a polarization between humanity, which is unnecessary and strips away our understanding that our greatest ability is to show love and kindness to one another, especially as men. So many men have this macho facade, the tough guy facade, the I'm tougher, stronger than the supposed sound of weakness, the narrative that maybe we're not as strong, maybe we're not as tough, maybe we're not as good. And so men so often try to outrun that voice, but that voice isn't based in love. That voice is based in scarcity, in fear, in lack. So I am on a mission to see people truly reclaim back in their lives the great power that love universally has for all of us. A few things that I want to share with you practically what you can do to start coming from a place of love and allowing love and goodness and inspiration to fill your mind, fill your heart, and eventually fill your body. Number one, fear cannot create love any more than love can create fear. Fear keeps you small. Fear strips away your voice. Fear gets you triggered to where you want to fight at all times. And the way I explain this is if you think about the bulls in Spain where they do the bullfights or the running of the bulls, these massive, violent, strong animals have rings in their nose. Why? Because it doesn't matter how big and strong and angry and powerful those bulls are. The minute someone puts their finger in that ring of that bull's nose, they can lead that bull wherever they want him to go. They can bring that bull to their knees. And it's the same with us as human beings and specifically as men, where we build up this tough facade. We build up this I'm tough, I'm good, I'm strong, I'm smart, I'm wealthy, I'm all these things. But if we are coming from a place of fear and trying to outrun that voice of fear in our heads, the minute someone confronts us with an opposing idea, opposing thought, perhaps a different way of looking, more often than not, we get triggered, we get angry, we want to either go into fight or flight mode. And that is so unnecessary because love says it's all good. Let's take a look at what someone else says. I won't get triggered. I'm going to stand in the power of my vulnerability and observe every other person's perspective and listen empathetically to them so that I can learn from them and not feel I am any less than, but I can share love with them. And when they feel loved by you, they in turn can go out and share love with another person. It is the ripple effect. You can call it the butterfly effect. You can call it the ripple effect. But when you choose to stop the pain and fear perpetuating beyond yourself, and you say the pain will stop with me, the fear will stop with me, and from now on I will come from a place of love, you literally change in a small but compounding way how the world is. It's what Mahatma Gandhi meant when he said, be the change you want to see in the world. You get to be that. We have a lack of love narrative in this world. And the word love has been hijacked by religion or perhaps the poets of the past. But it's time to reinsert this love back into our narrative, back into our thoughts, back into our conversations, back into our behaviors and actions and ways of being. When I treat you with the highest good, you feel better. And when you feel better, you'll be better. And when you be better, you can then go out in a secure way and treat other people with love and kindness. The other thing is, light and darkness are not counterforce powers to each other. What I mean by this is, darkness is not a counterforce to light. Darkness exists in the absence of light. So Benjamin Franklin has a brilliant quote. He says, instead of cursing the darkness, light a candle. You see, so often our energy is spent trying to drive out darkness by using darkness as the means. We get angry, we curse, we accuse, we gossip, we speak bad of others, and that is darkness being perpetuated. But if you want the behavior of another person to change, it does not start by trying to change the other person's behavior. It starts with you being the light so desperately needed in this world. And light casts out darkness, just as love casts out fear. Do not try to combat darkness with darkness. It will never work. Be the light. Be the change. And the last thing I want to talk to you about today, and I'm so honored to be part of these great leaders in the summit, I want to talk about vulnerability. There's a lot of narrative that's gone on and around vulnerability, but I define vulnerability in a very specific way, and it's this: having the courage to experience love in its purest form. Courage does not mean the absence of fear. Courage means experiencing fear and doing something anyway, stepping through that fear. And on the other side of fear is love. That's why I define courage or define vulnerability as having the courage to experience love in its purest form. When you step through fear, when you step through darkness and realize that you are the light and you are the proponent of love and the one who is able to give love into this world, you can then stand in your own vulnerability, take your mask off, and not feel like you're always on the defensive. But instead, you can drop your armor, drop your walls, stand there, and talk about whatever, whenever, to whomever, and not get triggered, but be an invitation for someone else to take their mask and their armor off. When we, as human beings, live like this, which is not a utopian ideal, which is not some fluffy, foo-foo, woo-woo narrative. It's just simply standing in our own power, and our power resides in our vulnerability to show love and light into this world. When we do this, we will see the world that we truly want to live in. And it begins inside us. And from inside us, we can share outside of us what others are craving for themselves.